Greetings everyone. Today I'm back with an update on my 1541 Navigator application, which is now available on the App Store, so check it out if you're interested. Just search for 1541 Navigator to find it. To recap, 1541 Navigator will parse Commodore 64 disk images and let you browse the directory and files contained on the image, including basic files, machine language disassembly, text files, or a plain hexadecimal view of any type of file. In this episode, I'm going to demonstrate the new features and enhancements made to 1541 Navigator. So let's get started by loading my Commodore 64 work disk. First new feature I added is the ability to sort the file listing. Obviously, sorting by file name is going to be the most useful, but you can sort by any of the columns: size, type, start address, and by track and sector. If you select track, sector will automatically be used as a secondary sort key to keep it all in sequential order. And if you need to revert back to the original list, you may do so by pressing the revert button here at the bottom. So why would you want to revert it back? Well, let's demonstrate by loading another disk. Now, as you can see on this disk, I've obviously gone to some effort to group the programs together and put little labels in the directory listing. Now, sorting this would mess up all of that hard work I did to get it in that order. So obviously, I would want to revert it back to the original, so I will have the structure that I created. And with this disk loaded, it's the perfect segue into the next feature. Navigator will now recognize and display keywords from Simon's Basic and the Commodore Super Expander cartridges for both the 64 and VIC-20 computers. When you click on a file with extended basic commands, the status line will indicate that you're viewing a program that was created using either Simon's Basic or Super Expander. The extended basic commands are highlighted in yellow here, and you can see we have color, high res, circle, paint, arc, line, etc. and so forth. By the way, Navigator is highlighting the keywords for the purposes of this video. The retail version does not actually highlight the keywords. However, color coding could be done in a future upgrade. And continuing on with a few more examples. The Simon's Extended Basic was a disk companion to go along with the Simon's Basic cartridge, and it added even more commands and also some utility functions such as renumber. Moving on to the Super Expander for a few examples. We'll end with clicking on a few more random examples here to see the keywords and some drawing stuff. Now, if you think that having these keywords on is causing any problems with any other part of the program, you can toggle them on and off in the options menu here. So far, though, I've not found any collision of the keywords between normal basic, Simon's Basic, and the Super Expander stuff. Moving on, automatically recognize extended basic programs leads us to the next improvement in Navigator, which is Navigator will automatically select the best view for a file based on its type and starting address. Sequential files and relative files are most likely going to contain text, so it will automatically be viewed as PETSCI, which uses the ASCII and character codes from the Commodore 64 reference manual. Basic program files will have a default starting location based on the computer being used, and each computer will have locations where machine language programs can be stored. Here are the recognized addresses for the Commodore VIC-20, 64, and 128 computers. These addresses are the started basic and typical locations where machine language programs can be stored. The SpeechScript word processor also saves documents at a consistent starting address depending on which computer it's running on. Any file Navigator does not recognize will attempt to be displayed as a basic program first. If that fails, it will then be displayed in the hex viewer by default, and you can always select a different view for any file at any time. Navigator now has two new display modes, PETSCI and screen codes, which will extract text from any type of file. These two new viewers will interpret text using the Commodore ASCII and screen code charts found in the Commodore 64 reference manual. The hex viewer will also display both PETSCI and screen code text interpretations, allowing you to determine the best view for a selected file. For example, here is a paperclip word processing document that is not recognized and is defaulted to the hex viewer when we click on it. As we scroll down the document, we can see that the text of the document was stored using the Commodore screen codes. So we just switch displays and ta-da! There's the body of the text. And finally, a note about GEOS formatted disks and files. Navigator now recognizes a disk that has been formatted using the GEOS operating system, as indicated here on the status line. This disk contains the GeoWrite application, some fonts, and a few documents. Navigator still does not parse the files, but it will display information indicating what type of file it is. For example, GeoWrite is identified here as a GEOS application, Zaxxon is a user-created document, and the Roma and University files are identified as GEOS fonts. Okay, I think I've covered everything that is new and interesting. Be sure to watch the two previous videos to see more details on Navigator's operation and functionality. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, click on like and leave me a comment telling me what you think. Until next time, let's be careful out there.